Hi, Jess. Thanks for answering all my questions. I really liked seeing your crochet projects too. They were so cool. I can't wait to see what you make next. As Erin will tell you, I do have a stash of yarn as well, which I did mostly buy with projects in mind. The only problem is that all of those projects are still yarn. For whatever reason, I have a hard time finding time to actually make my projects, but someday I will. The unfortunate thing about this week is that Erin and I both got sick. So we didn't really feel like doing a whole lot or cooking a whole lot. In fact, once we even just took a nap in the evening. But nicely, both of us are feeling quite a bit better. Not completely 100%, but mostly better. So that's good. But it's been pretty low key around here. I have been excited to tell you about what we did this past weekend, which is go see Homeschool Performing Arts put on Titanic the Musical. Jess, I don't know if you're familiar with this show. Aaron was really familiar with it. He knew a lot of it, and I had never seen it before, and I hadn't heard a lot of it. So it was kind of cool, a different experience than what I normally do, of seeing a show that I didn't know that well, and I didn't know all the words and everything. It was really, really cool, and it was a really powerful story. One thing that's great about the musical is that everything is very accurate. All the characters have names that are taken straight from the ship's logs. All of the employees of the ship and passengers are all in there. And what I liked too was that there was little projections off to the side that told you the time and the date and the location of each scene. So that was really helpful just to see when everything was happening. The main thing that I think was so cool and exciting and intense about this show was that it is a historical event. It's not just a story. So they couldn't just, write a happier ending or change any of it really without being false to what really happened. And I felt like as I was watching it, everything that happened did feel like foreshadowing because we all knew it was going to happen when they were just kind of playing it as events unfolded. But there were a lot of little details here and there, like the fact that they were going really fast, like faster than most ships could ever go. And it was a new ship, it was its first voyage, and the visibility was not good. And all of those things that just kind of hike up your excitement and make you normally in a movie would be like, oh, I don't know, we have to find out if they're going to pull through this, and you just know how it's going to end. And it was just so crazy. Like I kept kind of hoping that the characters would do something or change something or something would come along, but that's just not how the story goes. It was a tragedy, and they couldn't change that. And even though it's a historical event that we all kind of know about, I liked the show because it really made it personal, kind of. We meet a lot of the characters, and there's a lot of characters that we like and some that we don't really like. And yeah, we just kind of get to know their stories and their hopes and dreams and goals, and the reasons that they're on that ship are different, especially between the classes. There's first class, second class, and third class on that ship, and they all have very different ways of living and dreams and different thoughts about how they're supposed to live their life. And the classes were actually really important in the story because the first class was so favored, and they were the closest to the lifeboats and closest to safety, and they were the preferred people on the ship, and everyone else weren't allowed to talk to the first class or do anything with them, and the third class were the worse off. And all the songs are really beautiful and haunting, and there's so many good solos. You need a lot of really good singers to play this show, and HBA definitely had them. They were so good. It was really exciting. And there's this one really beautiful song that Erin has shown me before, but I didn't really understand the full context of, which is called We'll Meet Tomorrow. And it's this scene where everyone is rushing to the lifeboats, and there's a point where no one can get on the lifeboats anymore. They've all been lowered, and they're all kind of realizing that they're going to die. It's just this intense moment, and it's so emotional, and just watching them on the stage and watching them sing the song and just realizing their fate and everything, and knowing that it's inevitable and it's not going to change. It was just really, really intense and so sad, and I just haven't been able to stop thinking about that scene. I guess you could say it wrecked me. Oh, is that too soon? Sorry. But that's the interesting thing about this story, right? Like, it's so long ago, and we all know this story, that plenty of people make jokes about it. And you wouldn't think about making a joke about a more recent tragedy because it's just more real to us and closer to us. Um, but this show and the musical just kind of brought it close and introduced you to the people, and it just makes it all feel all that much more emotional. So I know everything I'm saying makes it sound really sad, and it was really sad. I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea, but it is a really beautiful story, and I think it's worth telling. I think it does a good job of showing all the different facets of humanity and different kinds of people that are out there, and just the different ways that people react to a crisis, and maybe something about what the preferred way to react is. And there's just a lot of stuff about realizing what's really important and being thankful for what you do have. And those are all good things. So when we came out of that show, we were just blown away, and it was really, really good. And I have kept thinking about it all week. So bravo to HPA. They did a great show. And if you are interested in checking out the soundtrack to Titanic, it's really beautiful. And not the movie though. It's not related to the movie. It's just the musical soundtrack. Although I learned on Wikipedia that they did come out in the same year, which is very interesting. But I do really recommend you check out that soundtrack. And if you have a chance to see the show, I really would recommend you see it. It's so good. I think that's all I got for now. Hopefully my voice sounds better next week, but we'll see. I love you so, so much, Jess, and I will see you on Monday.